A third of dependents of retirees were above 25 years and of working age, according to a new survey that underlines Kenya's growing youth unemployment crisis. The RBA, which is the Retirement Benefits Authority, Pensioners Survey, indicated that 33.3% of those relying on retirees for their livelihood were above 25. It shows that individuals above 60 and retired were spending their meager pension on their children, often graduates expected to be in employment. Kenya's soft economy and the surge in graduates leaving school annually has created a growing pool of unemployed youths who are forced to rely on aged parents for basic items like food, housing, and clothing. Oof. It gives you a few stats there. I know it's a very heartbreaking story.
It's very heartbreaking.
The average amount spent by retirees: 28,000 shillings in school fees, 22,000 to pay loans, 14,705 shillings for foodstuffs and household goods, rent of about 10,000 shillings, medical bills and insurance covers of 9,430 shillings, for example. Now, when you look at how much they're making in pensions, 75% of respondents received a monthly pension below 30,000 shillings.
Imagine.
That
below 30,000 shillings.
It's a heartbreaking.
Now, when we're talking about a retiree, somebody who's above 60 and they're paying school fees,
yes,
they are supporting their children who have children.
Also.
Okay? And when you talk about these over 25s, these are they. It's an over 25 who is doesn't have an income, who's then depending on their parent, but then this over 25 then also has these other needs. They have a family, they have a young family, and they need support in paying school fees for their children. So this pensioner is actually educating their grandchildren. And in some cases,
on
their
the
own
30,000 shillings.
On that 30,000 shillings, 28K has gone to fees.
And you'd worked, what, most of your life to at least enjoy some benefits. And of course, that's a burden to them. That's their child, that's their grandchild. But it does speak to what we've mentioned a lot, just matters around, you know, mental health and all that, because it plays a huge role. And I think post-COVID, this became a global phenomenon, and I think you mentioned that in the beginning. So many young people, either you're a college student, either you're a young parent, had to move back in with their parents and then be supported by them. And it's global,
It is.
right?
And it's like, a lot of them are graduates, like this says, or they're at least done with some form of higher education, but unable to find meaningful work in the job market. Even if it is work, it's not the kind that would allow you to be able to sustain yourself. So you're still, depending on them. What does this mean now for this generation, this older generation?
It's another
and then now
burden.
that we've delayed the age at which people are becoming self-sufficient, what does that mean for subsequent generations?
I don't know how we're going to, and there right now people are jaded. It's not like our parents' time where there was some kind of linear way of knowing, if I work and get my, work hard, get my job, etc., I will be able to pay the rent and I'll be able to cover my expenses. And then now you have a generation that's completely jaded, because I can't even ever dream of owning my own place. I can't even dream about perhaps even starting my own business. I don't know what that looks like, and I don't know that the lack of circulation of money will allow me to do that. And that's why this happens now. Because retirees, there was a surety that allowed them to have, the pension that they have. There was a surety which just doesn't exist anymore.
It doesn't. You're right. There was a clear-cut way to do things. And again, this is why whenever people talk about the struggles they have with like young people in the workplace or Nini, I tell them, you're not dealing with the same person you were dealing with in the 90s or in the early 2000s who had a clear-cut way. You go to school, the job will find you. Okay, you're being given a boom for going to school, first of all. Boom. Well, if you know what that is. Right? And you get that money, you get into the work, so you're able to even support yourself and your family while you're in university. Because I think 5,000 shillings a semester in the 90s was a lot of money.
Right.
Then you come out, you get a job, and you're able to grow subsequently, right? You buy a kashamba, you build a house, you buy a vehicle, you take your kids to relatively inexpensive schools compared to now. Maybe they were pricey back then, but compared to now, relatively inexpensive. And then you tell them, do what I did, all will be well.
And
they do it
All is not well.
All
They
is
did.
not well.
They do it. They're like, I've gone to school. Actually, I've gotten a great degree. I don't know what's out there.
So before you tell us, you've told us it's a third of the dependents of retirees who are over
Above
25.
yeah.
How many thirds are left?
Two thirds, yeah.
The second third is people between 18 and 24.
Yeah.
So basically, 18 to 25 is 66% of those who are dependents of retirees.
This one has broken me.
It is very
This is a
heartbreaking.
big one. We need to find a way to actually now bring this conversation right here and start looking.
I was going to say that we should have
breaking
the.
down.
We have a few minutes, but